smell of flowers in springtime, beautiful, clear and blue skies above me, the feeling of damp grass beneath my bare feet, the sound of a free running stream, the warmth of the sun on my cheeks, the sight of a field filled with corn, the sound of birds singing in the trees, the taste of fresh-picked raspberries, crisp, clear autumn mornings, the sound of leaves crunching beneath my feet, the sight of pumpkins growing in a field, the first chill of water in the air, the sight of snowflakes frolicking on the breeze, watching children skate on a frozen pond and seeing the first robins of spring. I hope the future generation will still have these things to be thankful for. Worthy guests of honors, distinguished delegates from abroad in Pakistan, valuable media personnel, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. On the behalf of Green Growth Pakistan, an international human rights organization, I am Harim Mufti, wishing you a heartiest and a very warm welcome in this one-day seminar on World Environment Day. We are really honored with your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, the Green Growth Pakistan is a non-profit organization which has been known as highly recognized for creating awareness about essential issues among the community through the seminars and conferences. We amplify voices with indispensable information and those who inspire social change. World Environment Day takes place every year on 5th June. It is a UN flagship day for promoting worldwide awareness and action for the environment. Over the years, it has grown to be the largest global platform for environmental public outreach and is celebrated by millions of people across the world. In this regard, Green Growth Pakistan is organizing this seminar to amplify the voice of United Nations Environment Program. This seminar will focus on an awareness campaign of the current environmental situation in the country and solutions under the policies of UNEP and Ministry of Climate Change. I am really honored to be supported by UN Environment Program, Ministry of Climate Change, Ministry of Forest, Foreign Relations in Islamabad, and Ministry of Industries, Environment Protection Department, international organizations, and corporate sector. गुलों में रंग भरे बातें नौ बहार चले चले भी आओ तो गुलशन कारोबार चले। मोहतरम मेहमानान गिरामी, इस गुलशन के कारोबार को चलाने के लिए एक शख्स की काविशें सबसे अहम हैं और वो हैं इस इवेंट के चीफ ऑर्गेनाइजर और चेयरमैन ग्रीन ग्रोथ पाकिस्तान मिस्टर साजिद इकबाल साहब।
सबसे पहले मैं तहे दिल से मोसेस मेहमानों का शुक्रगुजार हूँ। आज उन्होंने इस दिन की इम्पोर्टेंस को समझते हुए अपनी नई जनरेशन के साथ मुखलिस होने का सबूत देते हुए आज हमारे सेमिनार में अपने लिए वक्त निकाला। मैं सब लोगों का बहुत तहे दिल से शुक्रगुजार हूँ। मैं तमाम मोसेस मेहमानों का शुक्रगुजार हूँ जो डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट से, डिफरेंट बिजनेस से, डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से। आज के दिन की इम्पोर्टेंस तो शायद पाकिस्तान की मेजर पॉपुलेशन इसको अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर रही कि हमारे फ्यूचर में हमारा क्लाइमेट चेंज का जो थ्रेट है वो कितना खतरनाक है, क्योंकि हमने अपनी आने वाली नस्लों को एक ऐसा प्लैनेट अर्थ पे डाली है जहाँ पे पीस हो, अमन हो और जिंदगी आसान। अब आप इससे इम्पोर्टेंस को देखते हुए इसका इम्पैक्ट देखिएगा कि हमारे सारा वाटर इंडस में जाएगा और इंडस में हमारे पास रेजर्वेशन ही नहीं है उस दरिया में। और इसके अलावा फ्यूचर में जो हीट इंक्रीज होगी तो फूड एंड सिक्योरिटी का पहले ही हम फेस कर रहे हैं इशू को, और उसकी हीट और उसकी प्रोडक्शन और कम हो जाएगी। इसके अलावा फ्लडिंग है, इसके अलावा बहुत ज़्यादा खतरात हैं हमारे आने वाले। लेकिन मैं आप लोगों को खुशकिस्मत समझता हूँ कि आप वो लोग हैं जो फ्यूचर में आने वाले हालात के चैलेंज को काफी समझते हैं और उसके लिए आप तशरीफ लाएंगे। तो मैं आपके इस ताउन का, आपके आज की प्रेजेंस का एक दफ़ा फिर शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। और यकीन जानिए आज का दिन ये सेलिब्रेट हम कर रहे हैं कि हम आप लोगों के ताउन के बगैर कतल न कर सकते, कतल ऐसा ना हो सकता। हम आपको अपनी टीम समझते हैं और अपने प्लैनेट को, अपने बिलव्ड कंट्री को जो फ्यूचर देने जा रहे हैं। हमारा इस साल का जो थीम है रेस्टोरेशन करना चाह रहे हैं कि इंसान का और नेचर का जो पुराना रास्ता है, जो पुराना वास्ता है, हम उसको बहाल कर सकें। आखिर पर मैं दोबारा आप सब लोगों को खराज तहसीन पेश करता हूँ और मैं आपको दोबारा ये रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ अपनी तरफ से, अगर आप लोगों का ताउन ना होता आज हम ये अवेयरनेस करते, आज हम फ्यूचर के लिए चैलेंज है उनका कदम मुकाबला न कर सकते। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you very much. This was Mr. Sajid Iqbal, Chairman, Green Road, Pakistan. I would now call upon an environmental scientist with more than 12 years of experience at national and international level. Currently, she is working as assistant professor at Center for Climate Research and Development, CCRD, COM6 University, Islamabad. Her research areas include air quality monitoring, climate change assessment and mitigation, and environmental impact assessment. Dr. Anjum Rashid has worked on Pakistan's low carbon scenario analysis for development of a GHG emission reference case of Pakistan and for identification of feasible mitigation options for the country in pursuance of Paris Climate Accord. She has successfully carried out strategic environmental assessment of the European Union's rural development programs across Pakistan. She has also prepared a country environment profile of Pakistan for the European Union. Before joining CCRD, Dr. Anjum was working on an evaluation of weather research and forecasting model for Hindu Kush Himalayan region at the International Center for Integrated Mountain Development, Nepal. Dr. Anjum Rashid, she will present on air pollution challenges in Pakistan. Ma'am, please.
Good morning, everyone. Today, while recognizing the importance of this World Environment Day, I would like to talk about the significant challenge which we are facing today and which we have to deal with and address it in timely manner, and that's air pollution. So, if we, in order to find the solutions of air pollution, we have to understand about the sources of pollution, like what are the activities and how we are contributing to it. And mainly the sources are vehicular emissions, energy generation, industrial activities, open burning of waste and biomass, then comes coal mining, and certain other like fertilizer application as well. So, for example, if we talk about the open burning of the waste and biomass, about 35% of the black carbon that is coming from this open burning, and black carbon causes cancer. So we have to understand like how these pollutants are impacting our health and why we have to tackle these issues at the earliest, because mostly it's neglected. We don't bother. Now for the COVID, we all wear masks, but I've never seen people wearing masks in Pakistan if they are moving in a dusty road or they're working in a polluted environment. So we have to understand this phenomena, and we have to take care of ourselves and environment. So These are the main types of the pollutants. For example, the particulates. These dust particulates, it's not just dust, it is metal also. The lead is there, black carbon is there, so they cause cancer, cardiovascular diseases, heart diseases. Nowadays we listen like, okay, so many people have died of heart attacks. But their physician never asks them, if you are working in an industry, are you moving from, where from do you move, which transport mode you are using. So those people, they might be exposed to the pollutants as well. So here our physicians, healthcare facilities, they also, they should understand like why people are having more cancer than before, respiratory cancers, lung diseases, asthma. So this is how we have to understand. Then there's black carbon, mainly coming from wood burning and household cooking, heating, space heating. So that is the main source of it. We have many areas, rural communities, where we don't have any alternate fuels. So people, they are forced to use these fuels for themselves. And mainly the women and the children, they are the ones who are exposed to these pollutants. And in China, major, like, it has caused a lot of cancer among women just because of this black carbon. And it also comes from the diesel smoke. You might have seen these black particles, black smoke. So this is black carbon. So, and then nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide. These are all coming from this man-made activities. So if you look at the impacts of the air pollution, it goes from the household level while cooking, you are exposed to it, and then there's urban being, living in an urban environment due to transport emissions, then industrial activities. So you are exposed to all these pollutants on daily basis. From peri-urban, we talk a lot about the biomass burning during smog season. Because all the farmers, there's the misconception in Pakistan, in everywhere. They think as if, first, it's an easy solution. They just burn the crops. They think, okay, get rid of it. How to transport it away, right? And plus there's another misconception. People think that if you burn the crop, it will make the soil more fertile. But that's not true. So these are the issues for which people burn the crops, and then it leads to smog, especially during fall season. And mainly, at that time, we also, blame our neighboring countries also. Okay, the smog is coming from there, but we also have local sources also. So we need to coordinate with our neighboring countries, and we have to work together how to ban this burning to deal with this issue. And then there's the regional issue. Obviously, this pollutants, they get transported from one region to the other. If we talk about the transboundary air pollution, all this black carbon, which is emitted from this household burning, then it comes from the diesel smoke. It moves towards the glaciers in the Himalayan region, and on the snow, it gets deposited on the glaciers, and then because it's a climate pollutant, it absorbs heat. So it accelerates all the melting in the glaciers. So that's another trend. It causes climate disasters, So we have to look at these issues, how these pollutants are transported into the colder region, and due to the climatic conditions over there, they get deposited in the regions where there is no source. In those areas, there is no source of pollutants. We are the ones who cause these pollutants, and then they are transported to the other regions. And then, okay, so why to take care of it? Because about 7 million premature deaths, they were caused in 2016 because of air pollution. And among those 0.6 million were children. Because we should not think, okay, that person died of the heart attack, okay, he just got it. Respiratory diseases, no, you might have seen a lot of people have asthma, everyone is coughing. So those are the things when all the time we're inhaling this toxic cocktail, it will affect your lungs. It will be all these, lead particulates, they can go into the, bloodstream as well. And this lead, it leads to the low IQ level in children also. It causes anemia. So these things we have to consider how to control these pollutants, at least for the health, because our main environmental burden is the health cause, which is caused by the air pollution, water pollution, all these issues. So we really have to think of it. And now if you look at the, a particulate matter pollution in 2015, look at Pakistan. must be 10 microgram per cubic meter. And look, we are never below 60s in our urban environment. So we have to see, how to control this. We have standards, all the regulations, guidelines. So there is the weak enforcement mechanism which leads to this much pollution. And in this Asian region, about 4 billion people they are exposed to this environment. And overall, worldwide, you see about 81% in the urban environments, they inhale the air which is above the WHO guidelines levels. So we are exposed to all these pollutants, and we have to think of it how to take care. If you look at the COVID-19 and air pollution, how they are linked, because these air particulates they can work as a vector to transport these coronavirus, right? So this virus can get deposited on the particulates and they can stay in the air for more time. So if somewhere there increase of 1 microgram per cubic meter, that can lead to 15% more deaths caused by COVID. So at least, this shows how much this COVID is, air pollution is affecting on every aspect of our life. Okay, just to show you how development is affecting these pollutants. This study was done pre-pandemic and post-pandemic for the periods over there. You can see how much during this lockdown the pollutants went down. So this is transport activities. This all blockage of the transport activities it led to lower the nitrous oxide levels in the cities. So you can understand that if there's less development, but we're not talking about less development, we talk about sustainable development, where you talk about the pollution control technologies, how to improve it. And it also affects economic growth also. Because all health burden that lowers the people's economic level. The poor becomes more poor because he's having all these health impacts. He has health costs. If you visit the areas, especially the remote areas also, all those people they are, having all these diseases because of the water pollution, sanitation issues, then air pollution issues, and even I've seen people even having schools in the mining areas, and no one bothers like children, studying there and all these mercuries, in the air. So these things have to be tackled. If you have to grow, if you have to make your country well developed and economically sustainable, you have to incorporate all these policies on air pollution into those development policies. So the measures for air pollution control, mainly we have to focus on the conventional, like for the technologies which deal with the particulate matter formation to reduce it, and then we have to look for other technologies which have till now not been incorporated in our system. Some other activities which we could ban. We only talk of transport activities and industrial activities, but we have to look for some other activities which could control this pollution. So here are the clean air measures which have been devised by Climate and Clean Air Coalition. They are related to the transport, industrial activities, waste, cooling and heating. So all of these sectors they are there, and open permit bans and such other activities. So this air pollution, as you might know that all these pollutants, many of these are climate pollutants as well. So when we talk about controlling the air pollution, indirectly we are also going to control the climate change as well, and we're going to address it. So in order to meet the Paris Agreement on climate change and to comply with the UNFCCC's agreement which we have signed, we need to look at the air pollution control also, because it's just plantation doesn't have it. Plantation will only, it's a sink for carbon dioxide. It will not, if you are on one side, you are installing coal-fired power plants, okay? So it's not CO2 emission, mercury is coming out, which is a carcinogen, okay? You are inhaling all that mercury. Then it's coming in the food chain also, it's causing air pollution. So you have to, along with the sinks, along with the plantation, the industries all should, install the pollution control technologies within those, facilities. So what co-benefit we can get? So if we introduce all the new measures and we enforce all the standards, so it all these air pollution measures and to control the air pollution, then definitely about 1 billion people will be able to inhale a cleaner air, cleaner than what we are inhaling at the moment. And at the moment, this ozone pollutant actually it lowers the crop productivity. So if we reduce the sources of ozone, definitely we'll get more crop. We'll be a food secure region. So it will help to achieve food security. And for water security, definitely there are less pollutants. There will be less glacier melting, and the water insecurity issue will be resolved. So these are the 4 benefits which could be achieved through controlling air pollution. So what could be the way forward? Just talking about the Pakistan budget issue we are facing, and which you also see that you might have seen that there is mismanagement of things, of urban planning. If there is an industrial state somewhere, people start moving close to that resident area and then start complaining, okay, now we are having these health problems. Which should be decided by the government. Okay, no residential area should be located close to the industries. But here it doesn't happen. So these buffer zones are a must. Keep the people happy and safe and set an enforcement mechanism in the existing cities. I mean, we are not learning from Karachi and Lahore. Look at Karachi and Lahore. What's happening there? All this pollution, environmental pollution. So we need to, instead of expanding Islamabad, if you look back at Islamabad 10 years back and look at it now, lot of transport, lot of the burden, we need to develop new smart cities. Why don't we go for that? So that is another issue. So how we can achieve all these air quality improvements, set ambitious air quality targets. Okay, we have to achieve this target by 2030 and then by 2050, and we should go for it. And then we should have strong monitoring mechanism. Like we have small projects and then it's gone, so we need to do the vehicular emission monitoring on regular basis, industrial monitoring on regular basis, and then control this program. And then all the development plans, they should incorporate the climate policy and environmental policy into it. If you are going for any development, any energy generation project, any oil exploration project, if you are investing this much money, why can't you invest for the environmental control technology? Because that is not a priority. So we should make it a priority. And for governments, like especially after this devolution, I would like to say that institutional strengthening plus strong coordination among the federal and provincial institutions. Because after devolution, the loss we had is lack of coordination. So once these institutions they work together for implementation of environmental regulations, then definitely we will achieve this air quality improvement target. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This was Dr. Anjum Rashid, and जो कुछ भी उन्होंने कहा, it was an eye opener for us. जो इस वक्त एयर पोल्यूशन के हालात है पाकिस्तान। यहाँ अमजद इस्लाम अमजद की एक गज़ल में पढ़ना चाहूँगी। मुझे अपने जीने का हक चाहिए, ज़मीं जिस पर मेरे कदम टिक सकें और तारों भरा कुछ फलक चाहिए। मुझे अपने जीने का हक चाहिए। नेमतें जो मेरे रब ने धरती को दी, साफ पानी, हवा, बारिशें, चांदनी, ये तो हैं हर अपने आदम की जागीरें, ये हमारी तुम्हारी किसी की नहीं। मुझको तालीम, सेहत और उम्मीद की सात रंगों भरी एक धनक चाहिए। मुझे अपने जीने का हक चाहिए। ना हवा साफ है, ना फिजा साफ है, वो जो आबे बका था वो ना साफ है। मुझे अपने जीने का हक चाहिए। मुझे अपने जीने का हक चाहिए। This was very best explained for the World Environment Day, and now I would call upon a very humble, a very down-to-earth, apprecious personality, Director Pakistan Council of Research in Water Resources. She is the head of NWQL as well as the Quality Director of 23 Regional Water Quality Labs, PCRWR, Dr. Hafsa Rashid. Ma'am, please.
prestigious event and on a very reminding day of the World Environmental Day. And as we all know that water is an essential ingredient of life, and unfortunately this essential ingredient is continuously under stress and facing challenges and multiple pressures. And my talk on World Environmental Day is focused on the water pollution and its impact on the public health. No doubt we talk a lot on the water and the water issues, and specifically water pollution and the water shortage. We all know serious effects on the water, but on this very important day, just a refreshing of our knowledge. If we talk about the global water facts, we came to know that about 2.2 billion people lack access to safe water. 80% of the wastewater generated as sewage, industrial wastewater, and agriculture wastewater, and the hospital wastewater. It goes directly into the water bodies, surface water bodies, without any treatment. Then the 3 billion people are affected by food and droughts from since 2001 to 2018. Less than 1.2% of all water on the earth is available for human use, which is no doubt sufficient, but it's not properly managed. And then we have a loss of financial resources in terms of the health and socio-economic implications of or improperly managed water resources. If we talk about Pakistan, we categorize water challenges in terms of quantity and quality, and both are very directly related. We know that shortage of water storage capacity in the form of the dams and reservoirs is one of the biggest challenges of Pakistan. And as Dr. Rashida also mentioned that climate change and water storage capacity, they have a very direct relationship. We know that Pakistan needs to increase its water storage capacity by 18 million acre feet. And already there are not only the storage capacity is an issue, but the deteriorated storage capacity of existing dams and reservoirs due to the silting process is also one of the big problems. So we have the different types of the basins. We have 4 hydrological basins across the country, and sometimes in some areas we have the dry season, in some areas we have the wet season. And in some areas we have more capacity to store water, whereas in other areas we have the less storage capacity. So we need to adopt a very homogeneous and based on our needs for enhancing the storage capacity, so that we can transfer the water from the wet season to the dry season and from the wet year to the dry year. It means that there should be an inter-basin transport of the water. Then we have huge water losses in the form of flood irrigation system and the water supply needs. Similarly, we are a water intensive capacity. We are the world's 4th highest water user, and without applying any water conservation strategy from the lower tier to the higher tier. We take water as a free and for granted entity. There is no pricing mechanism in any sector like agriculture, domestic, industrial, etc. And we just store 20% of the total rain water in the form of the harvesting. So whereas the developed world, they store more than 98% of the rainfall. We know that once we were water-rich country in 1951, then gradually, you can see with the increasing population, we are having the problem of decreased per capita water availability, and it is estimated by PCRWR by 2025 we may touch absolute water scarcity level of 500 cubic meter per capita water availability. Then there is a big issue of water depletion, groundwater depletion. There is no groundwater management framework existing in Pakistan. हर कोई हमारे घरों में खुद से बोरिंग कर रहा है. We are just drawing water from the tube wells, from the boreholes. There is no mechanism, there is no control
at the rate of 1 meter per year. And whereas in Quetta Valley, this is about 5 to 6 meters groundwater depletion on the annual basis. You can see this is a map of groundwater, fresh groundwater availability, which is shown by green color in this map. And if this situation remains consistently same, then no doubt we will be able to touch the absolute water scarcity by 2025. So there is a need of a strict legislation on the control of groundwater. We are also having the challenges of water availability and accessibility in our southern Sindh area, southern Punjab and the interior Sindh areas, and they present the big challenges in terms of the shortage of water as well as the water availability, and they are big issues and in terms of the water security, food security, energy security and the health security, which constrains the slow pace of the sustainable development in Pakistan. In terms of the quality, our big issues are uncontrolled and untreated disposal of the wastewater, which is generating from the sewage and the municipal and agriculture, industrial, hospital into the water bodies, which is causing environmental degradation of our rivers, streams, lakes, and all the freshwater resources. And this is not only causing the environmental degradation, it is also causing the economic degradation. And then we also having the big issues with the the low capacity of our existing wastewater treatment infrastructure. We are just treating less than 8% of our municipal wastewater, whereas we are just treating less than 3% of our industrial wastewater. Then we also follow our build, neglect and the rebuild approach. We do not want some sustainable solutions. We believe in the infrastructure development. We believe in the hardware development. We do not believe in the software development. We just build filtration plants, then we do not have the human capacity to operate those plants. Then we leave those plants and then we come to build the new structure and then we also leave those plants. And then continuously this approach of build, neglect and rebuild is our principle. So as a result of these, we are not able to manage our groundwater and the surface water resources. As a result, we are just deviating from the compliance to the national environmental quality standards, national drinking water quality standards, as well as the national bottled water quality standards. We also blame more on our neighboring countries in terms of the trans-boundary water pollution issues. No doubt there are water pollution issues and the contamination, the pollution is coming from the our neighboring countries, but we need to develop some mechanism of the cooperative water source management. And similarly, the increased seawater intrusion issue, which are further aggravated by the climate change, rapid urbanization, industrialization, and rapid population growth. Pakistan ranks second in the overall consumption of the pesticides, and these pesticides farmers do not have any awareness. They are just using fertilizers and pesticides, और उनका कोई उनको awareness नहीं है कि what hazards they are causing, what hazards they will pose to themselves and to the consumers in terms of the health risk. And Pakistan, is a big user of the pesticides and the fertilizers, needs to develop some awareness mechanism for the farmers and the consumers. As a result of violation of the Stockholm Convention, we are the signatory, but we are just violating. Our research work has indicated the wide usage of persistent organic pollutants, which are a set of 30 different restricted chemicals and still being used in our country, and the evidences have been found in the form of their availability in the water bodies, in the rivers, in lakes, in biota, in shrimps, and the groundwater. And these restricted chemicals, they persist in the environment, in the water bodies, in the climate, and they travel from to those areas which are dry lands, and it takes
decades to degrade, and sometimes they are not degradable. So all these issues and the climate change and the water shortage is also aggravated by the deforestation, and which is very much important, and the current government drive of increasing the forest is the right approach to address these challenges. We come to know the drinking water status. Our recent work has indicated that only 38% of the population is having access to the safe water. And why this 38% access to safe water is projected, we can see that there is a lack of capacity in the water supply agencies. There is a lack of mechanism of providing safe drinking water at the doorstep. We just avoid these approaches, and we try to follow the building the unsustainable infrastructures, and then there are some capacity issues of the human capacity to technically manage these water sources at the consumer's end. If we see from 2002 to 2020, we are having a very slow pace of improved safe water and achieve the SDG target 6.3.1 by 2030. There are some grave reasons of this slow pace of improvement. One of that is that our investment on the water supply and water supply infrastructure is also low. We need to increase this investment by 4 times to achieve the 2030.
मेरे पास ग्रीन ग्रोथ के पेज का एडमिन है, ठीक है, तो मेरे पेज से हो सकता है
नहीं हो सकता,